you prepare as thoroughly as you can. The guys play their asses off.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
That you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris? If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. If they are who we thought they were, when we let them off the hook.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull Rants, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. You can follow me on Twitter, X, at Skull World. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, leave a comment. I'm going to talk about Jalen Redmond, who just jumped onto the scene and ended up starting 2 games. I think he's a piece for the future. We're going to dive into him. I like to spend a lot more time when I talk about a player if I like him. And definitely Jalen Redmond was a guy that really stood out for me. I recently put out a tweet that I said defensive line, probably the second most important thing outside of interior offensive line. Sorry, that we should be filling the needs for. But someone pointed out that really need just one guy to me. And I'm like, let me think about it. Jalen Redmond came onto the scene. And next to him, Harrison Phillips, we may just need one guy now. I do like both those guys. We need a guy, again, a nose tackle. Honestly, Jalen Redmond can play up and down that defensive line in the 3-4. I seen him. I went back and looked at college. Nose tackle. He played straight up on the center and did a couple pit pat spin swim moves, and boom, is at the quarterback. I didn't know. He wasn't a guy on many people's radar, and you kind of look back at his video in college and you wonder why. Why wasn't this guy looked after? Now, I'm gonna look at an article Will Raggett's put out, kind of detailing the whole thing. Everybody knows Will Raggett's. He's one of the best writers out there for Minnesota sports. I like him, and he's clear-eyed about players, and he doesn't hold punches when he's on Twitter, when he's talking about players. So I like to bring up him because he seems pretty unbiased when he's not he's not drinking the purple Kool-Aid, but he's also not so rude that he just rips on players. So I really like Will Raggett. Let's bring him up. Now, Vikings re-signed Redmond, sign an Ambry Thomas the futures deal. Redmond had a strong season for the Vikings in 2025 after coming over from the UFL. Now, Vikings re-signed defensive tackle Jalen Redmond. They announced on Thursday they also in cornerback Ambry Thomas reserve futures contract after signing over a dozen players to such deals on Wednesday. The Vikings have re-signed Jalen Redmond as their post on Twitter. X. Redmond signed with the Vikings last June after previously being with the Arlington Renegades of the UFL. He made the initial 53-man roster behind a strong training camp and preseason performance and emerged as a real contributor in the middle of the season. Redmond spent the majority of the year on the Vikings' active roster, appearing in 14 games, starting 2 of them between the regular season playoffs. He just wasn't seeing the field. I made the 53. He was an afterthought, and then we saw him just ball out one game. As a player with and that was on the very few snaps, and then he earned more snaps the next game and then started. As a player with just one accrued season and an expiring contract, Redmond was set to become an exclusive rights free agent at the start of the new league year in March. Re-signing now skips that step. That's important. We don't want this guy going free agency. Someone saw him. Someone likes him. After a strong 2024 season, Redmond looks like a player who could continue to carve out a role of the Vikings defensive line moving forward. He played 236 defensive snaps, averaging 28 per game over the final 5 appearances of the season. He finished the season with 18 tackles, 6 tackle for losses, 1 sack, and 2 batted passes, and earned every very solid 75.5 PFF grade. 6 tackles for loss and only 280 in those few snaps. Pretty impressive. Some guys play the whole season, don't get that many. He played 1/3 as many snaps as most, or fourth of many snaps as some players, and he got 6 tackles for losses. Some guys might get 10 or 12 in that amount of time, if they played the whole season. Oh, here, let's play a quick video. Yeah, that's him just eating up the run. We like that. We like that here in Minnesota. Now, Redmond, who turns 26 in March, originally signed with the Panthers as an undrafted free agent out of Oklahoma in 2023. Then he went up playing spring football before landing with the Vikings. Thomas was, oh yeah, let's skip him. Okay. So let's look at his draft chart here from NFL.com. So Jalen Redmond, 6'2". Not he's not long. He's not a long player, but there's a description of him that kind of stands out to me, and I'll talk about that. Height 6'2", weight 291, arm length 32 and 5/8. These aren't elite, but hand size 10.18. Again, you can control players and use those hands as a club. He uses them as a club. He separates off of people. He's so quick. This guy has explosive. He's explosive. There's no doubt about it. You watch him play, it's like he stands out when he's off the ball. He really stands out. Now, here's some things that really stand out. Production core, they gave him a 72. Uh, Combined defensive tackle ranked third. Athleticism score, combined defensive tackle fourth. 89. You got an 89. Now, the rankings at 50 out of 100, and you're comparing yourself to all the other linemen. He's fourth. Coming out of college, total score combined 6. So where was this guy? Why wasn't this guy higher on his radar? I understand there's apparently were some injuries that kept him. Combined results: 40-yard dash 4.81, amazing. 10-yard split 171. Vertical jump 34 and a half. 34 and a half for a 290-pound man. That's amazing. Got a little pop up here. Let me get rid of it. So 9'8" broad jump. That's still really good, especially for his size. 20-yard, gravity has to take over. 20-yard shuttle 4.51. 3-cone drill 7.3. Pretty good for a D lineman. Bench press 27. Dude strong. Dude vertical jump. Showing me that he has explosiveness, and a 40-yard dash of 4.81. And he's playing D tackle. Where was this guy? Why did this guy escape the cracks? Shout out to Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah for seeing this. Redmond was a 4-star. No, his bio is 4-star recruit out of the Midwest City signing. Home state Sooners. He played in just 3 games his freshman year. 6 tackles, 2.5 for loss. Missing time suffered from blood clots. Oh, that's not good. Redmond returned to start 4 of 13 contests in 2019, leading OU with 6.5 sacks among his 23 total stops. Also very good. 11 for losses. Amazing. He opted out of 2020 season due to COVID-19 concerns. Then he missed 5 games with knee injury in 2021. I imagine if you got blood clots, you're going to worry about COVID back then with the information people were getting. Though he made an impact with starting 7 of 8 appearances, 19 tackles, 8 for loss with 3.5 sacks. In 8 appearances? It's ridiculous. Redmond started 8 of 12 games, played in 2022, posting 23 tackles, 10 for loss, 4 sacks, 4 pass breakups. He opted out of the team's bowl game to prepare for the draft. They projected him 5th or 6th round. I look back at this. I look back at what I saw, and that the 6'2", he's on. He's not your prototypical D tackle, but no less than 3rd round. No less than 3rd round based on looking at this video. And I would say 2nd round would have been pretty good. Pretty reasonable if I took a talent like this. 3rd round, looking at his college tape, it has a lot to do with his missing time, I think, in college. Productivity was there in the short stints. Productivity is way there. Overview: Redmond's NFL scouting combine testing was outstanding. Outstanding. He has displayed quickness and explosiveness that doesn't always show up on college tape. He possesses plenty of toughness, but moves on heavy feet. He lack of bend makes him a linear mover with limited playmaking potential. That I don't see it. I did not see it. I did not see it in the tape or when he was playing with the Vikings. While he might not fill up the NFL stat sheet, he does have the base strength and consideration as a rotational 4-3 nose tackle with some block eating elements to his game. Nose, he can play nose tackle, but in a 3-4, he can play either all three positions. Is not a problem with this guy. He's perfect for us, in my opinion. Strengths: carries good lean mass, muscularity to his frame. That's what I was want to point out. I think he's just solid player. Just just you could tell this guy just his muscle is a you heard hamster, muscle hamster. This guy is just bulking out. Adequate power in upper and lower body despite average size. Again, it stands out. When you see him just patty cake a guard and he just disappears and he's hitting the quarterback in his college tape, it's noticeable. And you see him all of a sudden he's the guy behind everybody in the line because he busted off the line and got past them. There was a play even in the last game against the Rams where he was behind the line. He busted through the line, no problem. And it's because of he's powerful. He's I can't say enough about Kwesi finding this guy and saying, hey, apparently he went to Kevin O'Connell. He showed him, he liked it, and he says, check, ask Flores what he thinks. Boom. He's on the team. Active hands attack the discard base blocks. He does. He has super active hands. It's not like he doesn't have big spin moves. He's not a big swim move guy. He literally just pats him really quick and they turn and he's right by him. It's actually pretty interesting technique. He's not a power guy, he's not bull rushing people. Somehow he gets them going the way he wants and then just goes a straight line. It's actually pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying this guy's Hall of Famer, all pro, but he's limited size, but he does things that I just didn't see all the time. Like you're not like, holy, how did he do that? It's actually he's just so quick. He's just really, really quick. Plays with some drive through firmness and blocker's edge. Put together memorable performance in the NFL scouting combine. Weaknesses: reach blocks, finds their mark against him. Um, Struggles to counter and defeat a wash down block. I suppose. I mean, he's not that big, so if someone slams down on him, he's not. He's going to get taken out potentially. But hopefully, he's busting through the line so fast that they can't get to him. Pass rush becomes too straight legged. I don't know. I don't know. I can see that. I did see a couple plays where he's kind of stood up and then boom boom he hits him with his 1-2 and then the guy's shaking and he just jets the quarterback and the fact that I remember him being like uh he didn't get any push and I think I don't know what he was doing necessarily but he got stood up at the line, everybody got kind of a push. He just 1-2'd the guy and then he was probably 7 yards away from the quarterback but he cut that and he just shot out of the cannon, got to him before the quarterback could even react and got the sack. And he was nowhere near the quarterback. And that was in college, but that's impressive. Troubling reactive athleticism for change of direction tackles. I don't know what that means. But let me give me some final thoughts on Jalen Redmond. We're not going to spend very much on him. It's probably just 1 year. This guy's got a future in the NFL with the Vikings for sure. It's keeping me from having to buy two defensive, a defensive end or defensive tackle for the 3-4. Legit run defender and gets penetration. And I think this guy can get sacks in the NFL. I think he can. If he gets 3 or 4 or 5 sacks in the NFL in a season, boom. That is production from his position. And he's so good at run defense and penetration. And it's not like he's taking chances. He's literally playing his position, gets a guy off his mark, and with his hands, it's actually impressive. He's got big old club hands and really good strength and very just muscular, compact dude and a lot of explosiveness. And this is why Jalen Redmond is going to be a Minnesota Viking, I think, for a long time if he stays healthy. And his prove it year, he's going to prove it. I think he's got all the ability in the world. I think he was not drafted. If he was, it doesn't say where he was drafted, but they expect him 5, 6 round. Now this guy was, if he didn't have COVID, didn't have these half seasons, he would have been plenty. He would have been sought after. Could have been a deep draft too. 3rd round at the minimum. That this was quite a find by Kwesi. Great job, Kevin O'Connell, pulling the trigger. Same way with Flores, identifying this guy and having the fortitude. I used to have complaints that we wouldn't play a guy because he didn't earn. He was a rookie or he wasn't a vet, and there's guys ahead of him that have more experience. They saw this guy. They put him in there. He took advantage of his opportunities. And there's something about I think it was Pat Williams, the only guy to have 2 tackle for losses and 2 pass defenses in the same game. So I think that might have been just with the Vikings, but he blocked 2 passes and had 2 tackle for losses in the same game. That's why this guy's going to start. He's going to make a difference for us. I like it. Just give me one guy. Give me one guy to solidify this D line. I think we got it. Harrison Phillips, Jalen Redmond, and then get me a guy. That's what I want. Skull Vikings. Cue the music.
You prepare as thoroughly as you can. The guys play their asses off.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Listen, we're talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We're talking about practice.
That you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. When we let them off the hook.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.